Welcome. Leeds United are ready to resume action, and ahead of that return to Premier League football that will take place a little later on this month. Leeds United have been getting some warm weather training in Alicante, and this evening they'll be taking on Elche from the top division of Spanish football by way of a first proper warm-up game. There have been some action behind closed doors, but the first proper warm-up game in front of spectators that will begin a little, well, it's almost like a pre-season programme, isn't it, given that Leeds have got a couple of games at Ellen Road coming up before they return to action with the visit of Manchester City on December the 28th. We have Real Sociedad and AS Monaco coming over to Ellen Road, but this is where the programme kicks off, and this is where Leeds United begin the task of making sure they get themselves back up to speed and ready for the start, or the restart of the Premier League season, now that the World Cup is coming somewhere towards its conclusion. Having said all that, there's plenty more football to be played, of course, in Qatar, as those who follow England will more than testify. That big game against Senegal coming up at the weekend, but sights are beginning to refocus domestically on the programme that lies ahead, and we have the two teams out here now, and the home team there who are not enjoying the best of form this season, it has to be said. So they have the backing of their home supporters, but they found life difficult in the top division this season, and they've yet to record a win in the league at least. So they are bottom of the table with just 4 points. Leeds United in the what we're describing this one as, what do we usually say? Is it charcoal grey?
Let's go with that.
Change strip with orange, and Elche in their traditional green and white colours. As you can see on the banners of the fans in the crowd here, it's a decent stadium. It's got a good capacity, nearly 34,000 can fit in. Not that many in this evening, but not a bad turnout nevertheless for this game that for both sides marks the point at which they begin to really step up the preparation for the return to action in their domestic leagues. Leeds United's lineup there, you'll see from the team picture, is a little unfamiliar in terms of those starting, but there's some good news in that we have Adam Forshaw fit again, whereas one or two others are missing through injury. Forshaw is one who is returning to full fitness. That's the Elche side. They went into this one with a win in the Spanish Cup competition before the break began, and they've actually played a game against an English side already in the last few days. They played against West Bromwich Albion and won that by 1-0. And so this is the Elche lineup for this game this evening, with a new coach, Pablo Machin, who's become the fourth person to pick teams for Elche already so far this season. And the last full-time coach, Almiron, only lasted 5 matches in 25 days. So Machin takes up the reins, and there's your Leeds United side for the game this evening. Robles in goal, Meslier is not with the travelling party, and then you'll see that there's a fairly familiar look to other things, but as mentioned previously, Adam Forshaw returns to action for Leeds, long-awaited return for him as we get ready to get the game underway here, with Leeds United hoping that they can get straight into the thick of it. Rodrigo, effectively back home, isn't he, Rodrigo there, close to where he arrived at Leeds from, Valencia, and he stands over the ball for Leeds now, ready to get the game underway. There is a cup to play for actually this evening, in what I think we're describing as the Festa de Elche, so we may yet have a trophy lift at the end of the night, which always gives proceedings a little slightly extra edge as Leeds United look to get the ball forward quickly. Delighted to say alongside me this evening is Tony Dorigo. Tony, what are Leeds looking to do? It's such a strange situation, this one, isn't it? You've had a mid-season break, which now leads to what is effectively a pre-season.
Yes, unfortunately for players as well, it is very difficult. Me watching, like you, Bryn, as well, it's very strange. It really is. But from a player's point of view, of course, going out to Spain, getting some really good training in is good, but of course you just want to play. So tonight, finally, they're back playing, they've got the ball at their feet, and 11 players out there and enjoying themselves, because I must admit, pitch looks good. Competition shouldn't be too stiff, but it was more than decent, and hopefully get a good 90 minutes under the belt. Yeah,
I guess this is an exercise in easing yourself back into things, in a sense, isn't it? As Palacios has the ball in his hands for the throw-in, standing in front of the new coach there, Machin, who's at his 9th senior club. He's had jobs in youth football as well. So he's moved around quite a bit. He's worked in Spain and abroad. And Yosan watches as the throw-in is taken quickly up towards the edge of the Leeds penalty area, where Liam Cooper does a good job in just easing the attacking player away from the ball. And it rolls behind, but the quick throw in there was something that Leeds United had to be alert to, because Elche moved the ball quickly up to the edge of the Leeds penalty area. And Robles gets his first feel of the ball and is quite vocal in his instructions to his teammates.
Certainly good to see Adam Forshaw, isn't it, out there again. Really has been pretty inspirational when he has played and got back into the side. Unfortunately, injuries really is tough, but hopefully he can have a good run, steer clear of those injuries, and we can have another player, very good player, added to our squad.
Elder out to Somerville, who wears the gloves. It's a fairly cool evening in Elche, even despite its position down on the far southeast coast of Spain, towards not very far away from the sea. And a foul is conceded, and Elche will have a free kick in the Leeds United half. Mascarell, the man who was caught there.
It's a friendly, isn't it, this? Tell you what, some tackles flying in there, which is good, because it's all about tempo. What you don't want is just a stroll through a 90 minutes. You want to make sure it's at high tempo, get that fitness. And we saw Adam Forshaw there, fly into a challenge, was excellent.
It's an attack from the home team. I did watch some highlights, if that's the right phrase, of a game that Hearts were involved in Spain a few days ago. It had to be abandoned, another one of their warm-up games, because it all kicked off, as the phrase has it. So it was decided to abandon that particular match. So there's a mini precedent set in terms of people getting stuck into the challenges here. And Elche with the first chance of the game, and the first shot of the game, and the second shot brings the first goal of the game. And really, as Leeds United got into a bit of a mess at the back there, we then see that the decision actually has gone in Leeds' favour. And what looked like the first goal conceded in the game, Leeds have got away with.
They have. Offside. Miller was offside, and the ball actually came out to Crescencio Somerville. He inadvertently put it straight back into the path of Miller. You can see how he's way offside there. Crescencio with a bad touch, but fortunately comes to nothing.
So the first anxiety comes in the Leeds penalty area. They now try and create the same at the other end and hold the ball up on that far side, with Rodrigo trying to keep possession for Leeds United, unsuccessfully as it turns out. And then it's picked up on the halfway line, still getting to terms with that Pascal Strauch haircut, and a great ball played from a great opportunity. A good tackle, in fairness, on Somerville there. He'd made a good run through, and the ball was directly where he wanted it. And here's a problem, quite clearly, for the Elche man.
What a ball that was. And I love it when Somerville gets on his bike and looks to get beyond the defender, always looking to make sure he can find that space in behind. Excellent ball. I just thought he could have taken it that much quicker. Defender came across and does really well, actually, to get a foot across there. If he hits it now, he's fine, but that extra couple of strides allows the defender to come across and make a really good challenge.
It was Palacios, wasn't it, who made the challenge there, and who's still down now. An awful lot of movement. Palacios stands over, so Palacios clearly it isn't, as we can see from the name on the back of the shirt of the man wearing the number 14 there. But a lengthy period of treatment required. So it was a tackle that potentially prevented a goal, but may have come at some cost. I guess this is the conundrum players are going to have, isn't it, at this stage?
It is, because you still want to play at 100 miles an hour, but of course injuries do happen. The last thing you want when you're trying to get some fitness into you, ready for the big second half of the season, is to get injured. But there's no other way. You just got to get out there and give everything.
Leeds United represented amongst the crowd, as you can see behind the goal there. Leeds flag, Leeds tracksuit top, and had a message from a group of Leeds United fans in the build-up to the game who've taken over a hotel in Benidorm en masse ahead of going to watch the match. Under 21s have been in action in Spain as well. Elche are about to, it would appear, be back to their full complement of players, and in the meantime then Leeds have a problem as well. So maybe these are the first moments of players getting back into action, and this is the impact that it's having in terms of them suddenly being back at full pelt again.
Yes, actually I think it was John, wasn't it, the 26 for Elche, but hopefully Somerville is okay, but clearly he's felt something tweaked as well. That does not look okay, does it at all? This is not good news.
Well, if you think Leeds United are without the likes of Patrick Bamford this evening, no Llorente, no Sinistera, and then obviously the guys who've just finished on World Cup duty, who are not with the group either, then there's a little bit of a thin look to things in terms of the squad just currently. So the sight of Crescencio Somerville limping towards the touchline here will not be a welcome one to Jesse Marsh at all.
Well, it's how gingerly he's actually walking. That's the worry. And I'm sure he didn't think he did too much because he jumped up after that challenge, but clearly walking back, he's felt it. And the most important thing is if he does feel something, get straight off. Get treatment as soon as possible and certainly limit the damage.
Yeah, the focus is on December the 28th, obviously, the return to action against Manchester City. So that's where the real priority lies, in making sure that people are ready for that date. But if they can get games under their belt in the meantime, all well and good. Much better, of course. At the moment, it's Leeds United through Harrison, then Rodrigo. Still the tackles fly in, has to be said. And then on the halfway line, Leeds hold the ball and then start to develop an attack with Harrison. Clever ball into the middle for Rodrigo. In fine goal-scoring form before the World Cup break. Can he maintain that momentum starting here tonight? Let's see. The ball is lost as Rocha couldn't keep possession for the away team, but then it was briefly won back in the midfield before the referee intervened and awarded a free kick.
Okay, the challenges are flying in, and you know what, I think the lads are just so happy to be out there, but they're really going for it, so just got to be a little bit careful at times as well. But certainly Elche, with so many new managers, bottom of the table, some of those players clearly have plenty to prove as well. They're giving it their all.
So the referee has had to keep an eye on things here in the earliest stages of this game. We've had 9 minutes, and we've had a couple of moments at either end that could have led to goals. One moment that did see the ball in the back of the net before it was ruled offside. And we see the coaching staff, and then we see a relatively familiar sight of a player lying on the turf. Gelder involved as the culprit on this occasion, and the game will restart with a free kick.
And the challenge from Gelder just a little late. Didn't see a lot of a touch, to be honest, but down he goes.
Didn't appear to be any contact there
at all. But it was just the arm rather than the leg, but even so.
Leeds win the ball back with Forshaw, and then it's played out to Harrison on this near side. Quickly closed down Jack Harrison. So Leeds work the ball back into Leeds territory, and Strout goes across the back to Liam Cooper. I guess there might be an element here with the Elche players as well. They've got a new coach watching on.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so you do have a little sense that maybe there are players there who are keen to impress the new man in terms of their approach in these opening stages, at least, where they seem to be very lively and very willing to get into the quick challenges on the Leeds players in possession. Offside flag is raised again there.
Good line. Of course, Cooper normally plays left-sided centre half, but Strauch instead is playing there, and Coop's on the right. So just a slight change of position, and it does make a little bit of difference as well. But Strauch, you're right, that haircut, still struggling to get used to it, still struggling a little bit. You can see the run, good line, let him run offside, caught him by a yard or two.
Pascal Strauch, recipient of a new contract, so congratulations to him, as he's been a standout find as Greenwood is on now, swift replacement for Crescencio Somerville. So the first setback for Leeds comes not in the form of a goal conceded, but in the form, more seriously really, of a player lost. And the hope is now that Somerville has not been too badly injured and that they've taken him off as a precautionary measure. Well, maybe now Elche are going to have to do the same, because the ball's been kicked into touch, because the man who's involved in the challenge with Somerville doesn't look like he can carry on either.
No, he's down again as well. And just looking at Greenwood coming on, looks like Jack Harrison now will, of course, revert back out to this left-hand side. Greenwood will go inside behind Rodrigo and go hard on the right-hand side. And the holding two, Forshaw and Rocker.
So early changes afoot for Leeds and potentially for Elche shortly. John is back on his feet but doesn't look at all happy. There is the substitution confirmed. Somerville off and Greenwood on. And Greenwood we've seen operating in different roles for Leeds United in recent times. Back end of last season, start of this one. Appearances would be that the Elche man is going to be okay to continue for the time being. Mascarell just checking with him. And then we're ready, or should be ready.
Probably waiting for a substitute to put his shin pads on, get his socks on. Can I walk off now? Yeah, I can now.
So there we go. That was a slightly strange little passage there where it appeared obvious that the man was going to go off. Then he was apparently going to stay on, and then Verdu comes on. So a change of pace already inside 15 minutes for the two teams here. And that's something that neither coach watching on will have wanted to happen so early in this game. At any point really in this game.
Absolutely right. I just wish Somerville did hit it that couple of strides earlier, then none of that would have happened, but hopefully it's not too serious, and he'll be back pretty shortly. So changes are afoot.
Yeah, Leeds will want the full complement of players available if possible for Manchester City. What a game to come back into action with. And there's another tackle that goes in and leaves a man down, clutching his ankle, but the free kick is taken quickly. And Elche it is who try and build down this near side with the substitute Verdu back into midfield position, and then played over the top for a position that he previously occupied, but he'd long since left. And that's easy for Robles to come out and gather. We saw Robles in action for Leeds just before the World Cup break in the Carabao Cup match against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Had a decent game there, beaten just the once, but that was the key moment of the game as Leeds slipped out of that competition. And that would have been the fixture that Leeds would be looking forward to in the week leading up to Christmas had they made progress in that competition. So that's instead why the club has moved to add a game against AS Monaco instead. As Leeds attack down the right side, the chase is on in the penalty area. Rodrigo game for Leeds, but the goalkeeper Badia gets there comfortably first. And then a strong challenge coming in from Pascal Struijk, judged to be too strong from Pascal Struijk, so the referee has awarded Elche a free kick.
Yeah, he was going to challenge, never was quite getting there, always second best, and unfortunately just stood in his way, blocked him, and down he goes.
So the free kick count is building pretty much in Elche's favour, it has to be said, in these opening stages, the first 15 minutes. There's another foul surely there. Well, we were anticipating it, sort of ailing style, but the referee decided that play was going to continue instead. Elche it is who then give away the throw-in, and Leeds United get the ball back in a manner in which they probably shouldn't have, but that maybe is symptomatic of the problem that Elche have had so far in the La Liga season, without a win yet.
No wins. That's got to be confidence draining, to say the least. But they're certainly putting in a load of effort here. So it's not as if they're down and out, but it's what quality they've got. That looks the problem. That was a late challenge
one there.
You've got to be careful.
This is all the hallmarks of those games out in Australia where there was no quarter asked and given, despite the fact that the matches were under the billing of being a friendly. Never really had that sense, and suddenly Elche have sprung the counter-attack, and the ball is quickly played up into the middle for Leeds to try and defend, and Robles has to get off his line quickly there because Leeds were outnumbered in the penalty area briefly there, and a better ball in might have caused bigger problems.
Certainly was. Good play from Boyer, who nicked the ball off Adam Forshaw, then plays it out to the left-hand side, and Roger was coming inside, just got ahead of the ball. But of course he clipped Coops, the heels of the skipper, down he goes, a free kick to us.
Leeds United from the halfway line trying to get the ball in behind, and another little battle there that results in another free kick. And Sam Greenwood was the aggressor on that occasion. And Palacios it is who motions his teammates forward. And then plays the free kick straight into touch. So poor set-piece play from the home team. Palacios is a Colombian international. They've got 2 or 3 full internationals in their side, Elche. Good footwork there from the man with the number 9 on the back of his shirt. And so there's another opportunity for Elche to get the ball into a dangerous area. And Leeds are a little lucky to be able to have the chance to clear the first effort away. In the second effort, well, it forces Robles into a dive at least. I didn't ever feel it was really troubling him. But Elche are the side with the momentum in these early stages.
Yes, they certainly are. Shot from Mascarell coming in. And Robles certainly wasn't convinced that it was going over, so he had to make sure to try and at least stop it if it did dip. Didn't quite do that, but a decent effort.
So Leeds United at the moment under some pressure in the opening stages of the game and trying to create something in the other half now. Luke Ayling involved from that right side, and then Rocha in midfield with the ball over the top, but that's not going to find Rodrigo, who just indicates rather graphically there where he actually wanted the ball, and that was in that corridor right in front of where he was running.
It's difficult because when Rocha looked up, Rodrigo was in one position. As soon as he got his head down, obviously he nipped to the left-hand side. A bit of confusion, but that will come.
Yeah, I guess it's players just kind of recalibrating again here. They played a lot of football at the start of the season, then they've had the big break, and now they're having to switch their minds back on to doing what they would normally have been right in the thick of by this stage. In any previous season, this unique situation we've had with this mid-winter World Cup, I'm not sure it's an experiment that will be repeated. It remains to be seen.
No, let's forget it. Let's get it back to summer. Simple as that. And looking at this Elche side as well, it doesn't look like a side that hasn't won a game, don't you think? I mean, they've started well. They're certainly hungry for it. Showed some decent ability as well. Tell you that man on the ball there, Miller, tidy.
So Forshaw for Leeds, and pressure's always on the man in possession for Leeds United here. New coach will perhaps be pleased with what he's seeing from this side at the moment.
He certainly will. Plenty of work rate, but plenty of fouls as well. 20 minutes in, not really settled down yet. We can't get control of the midfield. Can't get enough passes in to really just push this Elche side back at the moment.
Trying to do that now with Adam Forshaw in the centre circle. Square ball to Rocha. Little newly formed central midfield, defensive midfield partnership there between Rocha and Forshaw. The two are obviously going to have to get to know each other's game if they're potentially going to work together in the weeks to come. Harrison cutting in from the near side touchline, and then Rocha again delivers the long ball into the penalty area, headed goalwards and headed into the hands ultimately of Badia, the goalkeeper.
We've seen that so many times, haven't we, that diagonal where Luke Ayling comes in on that right-hand side, just couldn't head it back across to Rodrigo, who was waiting for the tap-in.
And Elche start to move the ball towards the halfway line here. They've had quite a roller coaster ride in recent seasons of Elche. They got themselves up to the top division, then they hit all sorts of financial trouble and became the first side in Spanish football, the only side indeed in Spanish football to relegated for non-payment of taxes, as Liam Cooper had to react quickly there, and Robles offers him a hand of congratulations in effect, because for just a moment there, attacking player almost got away.
He did, but I think Coops was more intent on the man, and then of course remembered the ball. Gets there first, can see the run, but also got to make sure you cut it out, and he did.
So corner kick to Elche. And the home team remains the side that looks by far the more likely to register the first goal in this game as we move into the 21st minute. And again, the ball is delivered into a dangerous area in the penalty area. Still not gone, and still work for Leeds to do as the play switches to the left side of the penalty box, and quickly won back as well. There's one team right at it here, and one team currently just slightly off the pace.
I'm going for the team that are at it in white. And yeah, the team in our carbon black colour are really finding the pace. A little bit too hot at the moment. We just can't get hold of the ball and get 4 or 5 passes together. Elche here, yeah, they certainly look a side that are hungry. They want to impress the manager. Appealing for a penalty kick here. Shot from a long way out. The arm a little bit away from the body, but not too much. Just a corner.
Yeah, it's a friendly. Come on.
Yeah.
Headed away from the penalty area. But Leeds will be really anxious to have somebody up there as an out ball, but at the moment that out ball just doesn't exist, and so they're quickly back under pressure again. And Jack Harrison would have loved to have put the ball long up the line, I think, there, but wasn't given the opportunity because the blocking challenge on him came in, and the free throw-in rather is the best that Leeds get out of this one, but still stuck deep in their own half.
What's noticeable, anytime we get the ball, there are white shirts just flying in, and so they really are putting a lot of effort into this so far. Mind you, we're doing the same now.
Again, it comes up to the edge of the D, and Liam Cooper slides in and makes the block challenge, and that does, at least for the first time in a long time, give Leeds the chance to try and step up a little further up the park. And if they could just hold possession for a few moments here, then they can start to create a platform from which they can almost get back into this game. Currently scoreline remains all square at 0 apiece, obviously, but it's Leeds United who've been under a fair bit of pressure in the opening stages of this, particularly in the last 5 minutes or so.
Yes, they certainly have. And you saw really there, the run from Miller was a shocking one. He just ran straight offside, so he needs to bend his run more so. But defensive-wise, we're doing okay, but got to somehow get the ball moving through the thirds of the pitch. At the moment, we're kind of stuck in our own third.
Which is where the ball is currently, with Pascal Struijk. And then Struijk with a short ball to his left to Hjelde. And then he's caught in possession. But he's also caught before he loses possession. And that means that's a free kick for Leeds United, pretty much on the halfway line.
This is Boye, the striker, just working so hard.
Wince again with the boot studs down the probably down the ankle there of Hjelde. He seems okay, and Leeds are attacking. A rare moment on the edge of the Elche penalty area, and it doesn't last too long because the home side have moved it away quickly and suddenly are very much on the counter-attack here with a great chance of a shot on goal. Well, they take the opportunity for the shot. It was rising, and Robles can applaud the defending, but Roger maybe should have done much better with that.
Well, he said he should have done. They actually worked it really well, and the run from Roger was a good one. Coots wasn't quite getting back, but it looked like Roger ran out of gas as well. As soon as he got there, composure went missing.
He's an experienced striker that they have up front, 31 years old, and at Levante he had career stats of 216 games and 69 goals. That was the most prolific period of his career, but he has scored pretty regularly in the top division of Spanish football, which is no mean feat. So he is a player that has pedigree in that position. Didn't really show it on that occasion. The run was good, the shot not so, but that was a really good opening, probably the best opening that either side has fashioned in open play so far in this game. But this game is continuing to be controlled, really, you have to say, by the Spanish side just at the moment.
Yes, it certainly is, and what you'd like to see certainly is if Rocker can get on the ball, Forshaw can get it, but of course as soon as we get it at the back, the options are very limited, and his team and his men are doing rather well in closing those spaces down.
Jesse Marsh has had the players with him in Spain since the weekend. They'll fly back to the UK tomorrow, and then they'll start preparing for those games, the game that comes up next week, and then the game on the 21st. And then obviously we'll hope to be in good shape come that return to Premier League action on the 28th. And Robles with the ball out to the penalty area.
28th, looking forward to that one. At least it's a gentle start, isn't it?
yeah. Welcome back. It'll be really interesting to see what the dynamic in the Premier League is, because as we've already mentioned, this is such an unprecedented situation that how will play those who've been involved in the World Cup for a longer period, the England players, for instance, who've been there days longer than even with the 2 US internationals and Christensen as well. How will they adapt? Will they go straight back into action? Will players need a rest after the World Cup, even though the Premier League has started again? Will they be able to switch on in the same way that they had before going into the break, having that change of competition? Lots of questions to be answered, as they are here for Leeds United just at the moment. And the ball is cleared out of the penalty area. Elche have got plenty of white shirts forward still. The referee has, I think, played an advantage there, with Elche still in possession, with Yosan on this near side. And then a little ball to the edge of the centre circle to keep the ball in Leeds territory. The touch invited the challenge, but ultimately Elche were the side who've kept possession and continue to do that even as they retreat into their own half here.
Scorell there just had a little kick out. The referee's having a word with him as well. Very silly.
Yeah, it would be crazy to really to have that approach surely to this game, because it only increases the likelihood of retaliation, and the whole purpose of the match is to get people ready for the start of the resumption of proper football, if you like, rather than for any scores to be settled, even if there is a trophy to lift potentially at the end of the evening.
Trophy's a trophy, something to win. Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's the mentality, isn't it? Winner's mentality. Always professional. As the throw-in from Yozan goes back towards the halfway line. We're in the 28th minute of the game here, and we are still awaiting the first goal. Another challenge flying in there, and that's a yellow card. And again, there'll be a collective wince down on the Leeds bench as Joe Gelhardt got caught, and he got caught late, and he picks himself up somewhat gingerly.
He does, but I think he knew it was coming, which is important. And of course, what you don't want is one leg fully weighted on the deck. You want to make sure you just lift off in time. I think that's exactly what Joe Gelhardt did.
So Leeds get the free kick. The game has its first yellow, and not before time, you might suggest as well. Guti is the man who was booked. And Leeds suddenly with the ball into the penalty area. There's a little slip there from Rodrigo at the key moment, and that little loss of balance saw the ball spin away from him and into the hands of Badia, the goalkeeper.
It was a shame. It's like we caught them out over the top, but just that little slip came at the wrong time.
Rodrigo, the man who looked like he was going to take Leeds United to a dramatic victory in that sign-off Premier League game. Dramatic game at Tottenham Hotspur.
Crazy game.
Crazy
game. It really
absolutely
was, because we played so well. Scoring that many goals away from home, you think you're going to come away with something, and really felt for the boys. We just couldn't hang on when it looked like we were going to get all 3 points.
Not that you've been dwelling on it or anything.
Not at all. Not to be thinking about it. I need therapy on that one, but it was a brilliant game of football, but we come out on the wrong side of it.
Yeah, Leeds 3 times in front and still managed to lose the game. So that wasn't the result anybody wanted going into this long break, as Elche attacked the edge of the penalty area and into the penalty area now. The shot is caught and deflected behind for a corner kick. And again, pace of movement has caused Leeds United defensive problems there.
Yes, it certainly has. Boye here, very clever. Gets it through into the box. Just about does enough. Cooper there with a deflection, but got to try and get tighter. Another player down.
Wow, it's a familiar sign, this. It always appears to be ankles as well, which is that symptomatic of the fact that players' timing is maybe just a little bit off? Because what's this, the 3rd or 4th ankle injury that players suffered in these first 30 minutes?
I suppose you're so clearly desperate to start playing again, and this is the first time they have. They've done a lot of training, and now they're out on the pitch. But I suppose when your timing is slightly off, then the way they're charging around Elche, I mean, they really have put their foot in. And we've done 1 or 2 of those sort of challenges, but I think it was Forshaw, wasn't it? It looked like that from behind. But yeah, certainly the boys are giving everything out there.
I wonder then if the Forshaw challenge is the kind of retaliatory one to the challenge on Gelhardt.
No, surely not. So we don't do things like that.
A little earlier. Well, that's what happened. That's what we've been talking about, isn't it? The kind of the spiral then, because You left one on our guy, we're going to leave one on your guy.
I always used to love it when someone put David Batty on his backside, which didn't happen very often, but when it did, I'm thinking, okay, stretcher, get ready, because the bloke that did it is going off. Yeah, sure enough, 5 minutes to go, he gets carried off.
Those days are largely gone, but I guess pre-season, I guess pre-season, well, mid-season, I keep calling it pre-season, but mid-season friendlies are maybe that little bit different, because there isn't quite the spotlight, there isn't quite the scrutiny, despite the fact that people are watching this game all around the world. And Elche are attacking now, and the ball is there to be won again in front of goal. And Luke Ayling, Robles had to do well. Luke Ayling gave him a bit to do there with the header back, didn't he?
Kept him alive, didn't it? And alerts, yeah. Robles grabs hold of that one. Slightly risky, but it's a really strange situation, and I've never experienced anything like this. The boys haven't either, so they're learning as they're going. But of course, pre-season you have 5-6 weeks to then build up slowly. Here we've had half a season already. They've had a week to switch off mentally, then back to their fitness work. But here they are again. So it's a difficult one. You just want to get through without any injuries, and you want to, I suppose, all the work you've done in training, put some of those methods into action.
Just on that note, if you're joining us late, just to point out that one of the moments of note so far has been, it's not been a good note, it's been a negative, because Crescencio Somerville has had to go off for Leeds United in the very early stages of this game, limped off with what looked like an ankle injury, so Sam Greenwood has come on to replace him, and there'll be anxious news awaited from the medical team as the seriousness of that injury, because Somerville's form was so good going into the break, and with that run of consecutive games where he'd scored goals, that Leeds will certainly want him available for the return to proper action. Yes, absolutely, he was on fire, simple as that. He was brilliant. As Forshaw works the ball wide for Leeds, Rodrigo had come back from an offside position. An interesting reaction from Rodrigo, booting the ball towards the ball boy there. Just frustration, I guess. Well, there's no need for that, simple as that. But you're right, it is frustration, because we just he says sorry now to the ball boy. Fortunately, I think it just hit the other ball that he's got under his foot now. Yeah, another acknowledgement there given by Rodrigo. Just let the emotions get the better of him in that moment, as he was caught coming back from an offside position to try and retrieve possession for Leeds, who have to defend again. Important header in the middle. And then Harrison, who's been one of Leeds' better options from an attacking sense, offering himself down the left-hand side. On that occasion could do little with it. And Leeds have defending to do again. Extravagant back heel from Yosan. Good challenge coming in from Pascal Struijk, and there is Harrison helping out defensively. And then a good ball switch wide. And Leeds are urged to get forward as Rodrigo strides up towards the edge of the penalty area, into the penalty area. Chance of a shot perhaps here. He can work the ball into the right position. Comes out instead for the shot from Rocha, and that takes a deflection that carries it all the way over the near side touchline for a throw in. Finally, we found a bit of space. This time on the right hand side. Good work from Rodrigo. Rocha in the end was faced with a wall of white shirts, but at least the ball is at the right end. Held up. Comes up to take the throw in, and a player who started the season injured has got himself fit, and will no doubt feature in the first team squad in the weeks and months to come, and he has another opportunity to throw this ball in. We liked what we saw of him in the glimpses we got in the Premier League last season. Yeah, he's been unlucky, hasn't he, with injuries. So when he played at Everton, I thought he was superb until unfortunately he went off injured. And then these little injuries at times just stunted his experience and growth. But hopefully we'll see more of him. Leeds have a throw-in on the level point with the edge of the penalty area. Still Gelder stays forward to take it for the visitors here. Gelhardt lets that one over his shoulder to Forshaw, who felt he was dragged down. The referee's having none of it. Waves play on. Just in the last couple of minutes, for the first time in the game, we're seeing more of Leeds up in that Elche half and trying to put a bit of pressure on the home side here. And Leeds continue to do that. Still the tackles fly in. But Leeds respond well with Gelhardt strong in possession. Harrison coming into the middle is held up, stopped in his path by Yosan, and then there's a foul, and Elche will have the chance to get the ball out of their own half into Leeds, because they have a free kick which they've taken quickly. And Strauch has come to pick that one up for Leeds. Off forward it goes, onto the chest of the defender Palacios, and then back from the central defender and all the way to the goalkeeper. Verdu was the man with the outfield player with the touch there, the man who's come on as the replacement at the back for John, who's the change that's the change that Elche have had to make in the early stages of this one as well. And Rodrigo chasing that ball, but Badia, who was an experienced goalkeeper, got quickly up to the edge of the penalty area to claim that one ahead of the Leeds man. Yes,
we are struggling, aren't we, to link up in that last third. We're trying to hit those diagonal balls. It's few and far between, whereas Elche, certainly when they get it up there, Boye, Miller, they look like they're combining well.
And they are trying to combine up front before Liam Cooper just stabs the ball up towards the halfway line. Leeds don't have anybody in anything like close proximity of the ball, and Elche it is who can push forward again. Yozan's seen a lot of the ball down the right side, and there's a great chance to cross into the box, and the man was arriving on the edge of the 6-yard area. Still alive for Elche. Leeds having once more to make the blocks, and Leeds maybe just a little bit lucky that the man in the middle there, I think Luke Ayling was suggesting he might have been offside.
Well, it looked way offside. And Miller down this right hand side, I mean, it was lovely play, but I thought he was, a couple of yards at least offside. You can see there he goes. Pascal's let him go. Coops is looking up across the line, and suddenly he appears 3 yards in front of us. So for me, I think that was offside.
Leeds didn't get it, so Leeds are defending the corner kick. Could actually have been worse, because the man in the middle was not a long way away from making contact with the ball from close range in front of goal. Cooper with the good defensive header there to get the ball out the box at least temporarily. Again, heads up Rodrigo on that occasion. And Leeds would do well to get as far up the pitch as they can here to try and put pressure on Elche, and that pressure works actually, because as soon as the man on the ball is faced with an oncoming Leeds player, he mishit it, and that goes out for a goal kick.
Not been an easy first 38-39 minutes, has it? So as workouts go, it's a high tempo, so that is the good part of it, but we haven't really worked ourselves with the ball into any great sort of constant pressure against this Elche side, who haven't won a game all season. But I tell you what, with a new manager at the helm, a lot of these boys, for them, are looking like they want to impress, and they're giving it a right good go.
Must have maybe had some big words to say to them before the start of the match. I don't know, maybe contracts were talked about, whatever. But he will have, I would have thought, be fairly happy with what he's seen of his side in this game so far, playing against English Premier League opposition, generally touted as being the strongest league in the world, the Premier League. And yet here's Elche, the side at the bottom of another very, very strong European league, the one that probably, well, that and the Bundesliga, I guess, are the two where you'd look currently as the rivals in terms of status and strength to the Premier League. But La Liga has some fine teams in it as well, and Elche are at the bottom of the pile by some distance at the moment, 7 points behind the side above them, and they're attacking Leeds again here with another ball into the penalty area from the right hand side. Roger into the middle, Ayling again at a stretch to clear the ball away. But so often it's almost been last ditch defending from Leeds United to get the ball clear, and again they've got the job to do. Ayling a little more measured with that one, and he gets another chance to move the ball up the park, goes square instead, and Strike has to go back before he can even think about going forward, and then go square to Robles. And the goalkeeper's probably keen just to take a moment here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the players at the back are looking up, and there's not many options there. They can see a load of white shirts, so hence why it's going left and right at the back, but going nowhere fast going forward.
Great close control from Palacios there. Greenwood charged in towards him, and he just moved the ball smoothly around the Leeds man, and Leeds end up with a throw in and a chance again just to try and keep the ball for a little while here, which has been a difficult challenge for Leeds in the first 41 minutes of this game. Now there's maybe a bit more space for Leeds to operate in as Rodrigo brings Forshaw into play. Forshaw has the run wide of Ayling, or the ball inside from Rocha to Rocha. Forshaw again delivers it down the line to Ayling, gives it back to his teammate. And just a little bit more of this would be fine, but Forshaw's put too much on that ball, and suddenly Leeds are looking over their shoulder again as another free kick is awarded against, on this occasion, Liam Cooper. And so Leeds start to move back into their own half to resume defensive duties.
It's not a bad free kick to give away either, because we certainly pushed up. They were trying to get in between our lines there. Yeah, I think half-time, Jesse's got a bit of work to do. I think Gelhardt hasn't really got in the game on that far side. Harrison, of course, was playing centrally, but he's come out to this left-hand side, worked very hard, but the two wide men aren't getting any sort of service whatsoever.
It's a pretty inexperienced bench, so in terms of the replacements, and of course Leeds have already brought on one of those replacements with first-team experience, Sam Greenwood. The other options are to bring on players who haven't played much, well, hardly any first-team football in most instances. So Perkins, JB, Nonto, Drama. Cleach is the one experienced player on that replacements lineup, and Joseph is the last of the potential substitutes, all of whom we may yet see in the, I suspect, in the remaining stages of this game, as we head closer to half-time here. Elche lose possession. Greenwood with the ball that offers opportunity for Rodrigo, except Rodrigo is beyond the last man, and the flag is duly raised.
Yeah, one of the only instances where we've found some space, and unfortunately Rodrigo just the wrong side of the defenders. But I think what's most important in these sort of games is to get a good 90 minutes or 60 minutes, whatever it's going to be, into the players' legs. That's the most important. Second is clearly staying fit. We've not quite managed that with Somerville, but as for the rest, whatever the score is, doesn't really matter. But it's important that the ideas, I think, that Jesse Marsh sees one or two things that they've been working on. I'm not sure he's seen anything at the moment.
Yeah, it's hard to work out what he'll have made of the first 44 minutes of this game, other than the fact that perhaps there's quite a bit more work to do, and he has another, what has he got, a couple of weeks yet left to ensure that work is done. All the players have had some time off, and the manager also. So pictures of the manager with his family at Machu Picchu. So he's taken the opportunity to go and do a big trip. Some of the players, I'm sure, will have rested themselves well, and that's the difference. There have always been international breaks, but the length of the break here is the thing that marks this one out as being different. The international breaks usually 10 days, 2 weeks, and suddenly it's Leeds defending again, and there's a shot into the back of the net, and there's the first goal of the game. And Elche it is, sprung the offside trap, and it's Yosan who goes to celebrate with the home supporters because he's got in behind Leeds, and it's a deft little chip to the first goal of the game. Leeds are behind.
It's a wonderful finish, it really is. And Elche have been the team that have been pushing. Really good touch as well, and he does show great composure. Robles comes out, tries to make himself really big, but the little composed chip in off the post. Excellent finish. Yelda here with two players. Certainly caught in an overload. Didn't know which one to pick up, but that's a wonderful finish.
Any suspicion of offside around that goal?
Possibly, and I think that's always the case with Elche, the way they played tonight. As soon as we have pushed on, they have looked for that long diagonal over across Yelda, and this time it has come off.
So the home team have taken the lead, and Leeds could not really argue with that being the scoreline at half-time, because it's Elche who've dominated proceedings so far, and they've had all the better moments in the game, and all compounded there with that, what was a fine finish ultimately, because Robles did his best to try and make himself big, but it was just lifted over him and spun off the foot of the post and in.
Superb. First touch was excellent to get the ball under control. I like the second one as well, just to take it away from the defender and the keeper. Just gives him that extra split second to, and of course, produce that wonderful chip.
So, Leeds United have work to do here, and I'm sure Jesse Marsh will be wondering how he goes about the task of getting the team just to be able to play a little higher up the pitch, because most of the game has been played in the final third around that Leeds penalty area.
It has. We haven't been good enough to get hold of the ball in midfield and then play from there. The closing down has been superb. Options going forward are limited, and look, yet again we finding it difficult to get through.
And just the opportunity Rodrigo had, he thought, for a run through there. The pass off the outstep spun away from him. We're into added time at the end of this first period. Leeds trying to see whether they can create something in the seconds that remain, minutes and seconds that remain, with Forshaw on the halfway line. Greenwood under pressure, has to go back into his own half, playing with his back effectively to the Elche penalty area. Harrison again at least can look forward and go down the line to Gelhardt, and then he's bundled to the ground. So Leeds will have an opportunity in these last 90 seconds or so to get the ball into the Elche penalty area.
Gelhardt clever there, just winning the free kick. As he gets his body in the way, just stands up, and too much from Palacios in the back. Now, can we find, you're right, a decent delivery, a bit of quality, get the boys up from the back and attack this ball.
Well, it's Harrison over it. Greenwood comes to join him now. I think probably in-swinger, out-swinger options here. Harrison surely favourite to deliver this one into the penalty area, where Badia organises the Elche defenders. The line of white shirts between him and the nearest Leeds man. Greenwood leaves it. Harrison towards the penalty spot. It was met well by Luke Ayling. And he punches the ground in frustration, because having got away from the crowd there, he couldn't then direct his header anywhere near goal.
Decent ball, but that's it for the half. But it's certainly been a struggle, hasn't it? I don't think
Welcome back. We're ready for the start of the second half action at the Estadio Martínez Valero in Elche, in the region of Alicante. And Leeds United, who are in action here to get themselves ready for the resumption of Premier League football in a couple of weeks' time. December the 28th, Ellen Road, the visit of Manchester City. Are trailing at the interval here by 1-0, and few would argue that that was a merited scoreline in favour of Elche, because it was the home team who were well on top in that first period. We'll keep an eye out for changes in this second half, and we'll probably have to start scanning right from the moment that the second half gets underway here now, as Elche have plenty to pick from in terms of the substitutes. Tony is already running the rule over those who are on, and there's immediately somebody who wasn't playing in the first half involved in the action there. We've had no notification of half-time changes, so we'll be very much making this one up as we go on. Lautaro is on quite clearly, the man with the number 25 on his back, who's in the picture with the ball in his hand now on the halfway line. I have a suspicion that as we work through it here, we might see that there's been a complete change around in personnel, because Ponce is on the ball there, and we just hope that if the complete change has been made by the coach in the interval, and he had the capability to do that because they named 11 replacements, then there's Quina, who again was amongst those potential 11 replacements.
I'm not looking at Elche. There's only one team I'm looking at, and that's Leeds United, and we've got the same 11 out there.
Yeah.
So there we are. That's all you need to know.
Well, there's a much less option in terms of numbers, certainly for Leeds United, because whereas Elche have named and have now picked, I think, a full, completely different side, Leeds United, by contrast, have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the bench, and one of those, of course, has already come on, with Somerville having to go off early on in this game, and Sam Greenwood having come on to replace him. So whilst we will see more changes for Leeds, and again at the start of the second half, as we saw frequently through the first half, we have a player down clutching his ankle.
Well, Rocco with the challenge, but Yelda gets collided into as well. And we've seen this before, you're right at the start of the first half, now start of the second half. Hopefully we don't come off second best in this one.
So first couple of minutes, and Elche have a free kick pretty much on the halfway line, as you can see there. And this completely changed Elche side. Well, let's hope that that's indicative of what is to come through the second half there, as the ball is played straight into touch by the man who's on the team sheet as Lautaro. Leeds United with the clearance over the halfway line, but not really much ground gained there. Ultimately, Luke Ayling in the same position he started from with a throw-in.
I was about to say as well, in the second half, hopefully Elche will drop their tempo. However, they're all new, they're all fresh, so I very much doubt it, but hard to believe they could, I suppose, play as well as the team did in the first half. I must admit, the way they linked up top was very good.
Well, there's another clash there, and Gelhardt was involved for Leeds, and dramatic reaction initially, at least, from the Spanish player.
That was Verdu who actually came on in the first half, but yeah, so he was a sub.
He's the one who remains from that the first period of play, and that's because he came on again fairly early on. Same incident that cost Leeds the services of Somerville, also cost Elche the services of John, the defender who tackled Somerville. And there's not a great ball through, which is an easy pick up for the change keeper Werner.
Yeah, we've got to be better on the ball. We really have to. Of course, 4-2-3-1, so Forshaw and Rocker. But that is just an aimless ball there. Again, we just need to get a bit of confidence. Players facing up to the ball, wanting it, and then moving it quickly. But Elche certainly still closing us down ferociously.
Well, if the first 11 that they played were anxious to impress the new coach, I guess the second team that they played are even more anxious on that basis.
Well, I think what's clear is, and every player, will say the same thing, that as soon as a new manager comes in, you know what, I've got a chance here. Whether you were a starter, you weren't a starter, you're on the way up. If the manager says, right, I'm new, here we are, squad of 25. I'm going to look at you all, and you go and impress me. And that's what it looks like. That's what they're out there doing. Well,
it's been something of a revolving door in terms of the playing squad, if they're trying to impress managers for Elche so far this season, because the man on the touchline for them now is the fourth person in charge of the team already this season. And so they've been changing the man in charge with rapidity. The players still, I guess, charged with the task, and the club hoping that the task will be that the new man coming in will inspire something different from this group. Well, maybe the signs are here that they will be picking up on in the early stage of this, in terms of the first half. Chances created, pressure applied, that effect is taking place. But of course, the real important stuff is the league stuff, rather than the stuff that precedes the league stuff.
Yeah, I think in the league, let's be honest, Britain, they're looking for a miracle. Yeah. They are 7 points away from second bottom, so they're marooned already. 4 points all season. That's an absolute shocker. But you're right, if you're looking at two sides here and you don't know what's happened in the first half of the season, you wouldn't have said they were that far adrift of La Liga's other 19 teams.
I think theirs is the worst record of any team in a top division in Europe currently. So it has been a bit of a disaster, the first part of the season for Elche, 14 games played. But I guess there's still time perhaps for them to try and make up the gap, even if it seems a little unrealistic, given what's happened at the club so far. Leeds United, of course, are hoping that they don't find themselves dragged into anything similar in terms of position at the bottom. But that defeat against Spurs, that was a real setback on that basis, because those points would have really pushed Leeds up into a sort of pretty strong mid-table position, as it is at the end of the afternoon at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Leeds were once more left looking over the shoulders, so there's a lot more work for Leeds to do if those Premier League points are going to be acquired that are going to ensure that Leeds United stay well away from the danger zone. It's pretty tight down there, though.
Yes, it certainly is, and that's why I think with this break we're not quite sure what's going to happen when the teams do come back, because all the momentum that you might have built up, and suddenly it's lost. Just watch this attack.
And there's a shot, hopeful shot from the edge of the penalty. You'll see arms raised in the penalty box from teammates there, suggesting that there was a better option. In fact, there is a survivor of the first half. I told you we'd work it out as it was going along, because Bigas was on at the beginning of the game, and he it is who had the shot that went over the crossbar there. And that's the first near thing of this second period. Once more, it's Elche creating, and Leeds United, who are just struggling at the moment to even really get the ball over the halfway line in any meaningful sense here.
Well, the only way we get over the halfway line is via a clearance, an aimless clearance. We're not really, controlling that possession, not really getting it to feet of our players in any sort of space so they can then, comfortably play another pass. Here you can see closing down. Look how high up Elche are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and almost they get it back.
Yeah, that could have been a nervy moment that for Pascal Struck. Well, I guess it was a nervy moment, but it could have been worse for Leeds United, as he was caught in possession there. Again, speedy. Pressure applied to the man on the ball, as we see again. And Leeds, now this is tricky for Robles. He's going to have to go long here. But it's quickly won back, and Elche can work it down the left. Ball up to the feet of Fidel. Ultimately, strong challenge. But when, even when the ball had come in towards Joe Gelhardt there, the best outcome for Leeds was that free kick, because there were 3 white shirts so quickly on him that you couldn't see where he was going to get the ball to.
Yeah, and I think when you slightly delay the pass, obviously the spaces then get smaller, but they really are working very hard, Elche, just to close us down in every single area of the pitch.
Ayling with the free kick forward for Leeds, chases on down the right side, but only briefly. Rodrigo can't keep that one in play. Host of replacements still potentially to join the action. In fact, I'm looking down the list. Have they got more?
What have they got? There's another team coming on.
This will be interesting.
Good luck, Bryn.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. Elche it is, who crossed the halfway line again with menace. And, well, the player in possession was allowed to drift through 2-3 challenges there. And then space is opened up on the edge of the penalty area for the home team before Liam Cooper steps in to tidy things up and get the ball back to Robles. It's cleared up into the centre circle. Verdu trying to set Elche on their way again. Just Luke Ayling stepped out of the fullback's position there. The gap was left in behind him, and that space was exploited really well. And he held it. Well, he hasn't managed to get the ball away for Leeds, and the pressure again is on the away side, really on the away side. And again, man in possession, so quickly closed down on that far touchline. I think Leeds end up with a throw in there, but there's no space, there's no time. No,
Lirola, I think, has been adjudged to have fouled Jack. I'm not so sure, but we'll take that and just release the pressure.
So Robles, well, you can see the gesture from the goalkeeper there.
Well, there's no point playing at the back, is it? Because we can't play out. We might as well try and win the second ball further up the pitch.
Yeah, so Robles has sent everybody forward here, and we'll look to put as much distance on the ball as possible. But the result is that Leeds have conceded a throw-in just inside that Elche half. And again, it's the home team with the chance to put the pressure on the visitors from the Premier League. And we're 11 minutes into the second period, and suddenly, through a mistake, there's a chance for Rodrigo to have a little run here. He's all on his own at the moment, still going with the ball though. Done well to send the ball into the penalty area. And on this near side, Ayling's got up well. Keeps the ball, well, felt he'd kept the ball in play, as you can see from his protestations. The referee, though, disagrees, probably with the assistance of the linesman on the near side.
I actually thought Luke did rather well there. His body was out, but hard to tell exactly.
Well, if it's Japan, they get it, don't they? as the ball is on this near side touchline. Obviously no VAR involved in this this game this evening, just to make clear, as the challenges continue to fly in. Forshaw gets the free kick on that occasion, taken quickly. There could be another free kick here on the halfway line. That indeed is the outcome. And so again, Leeds take it quick and short.
They are sprinting into the challenge, aren't they, Elche? Every single man, no time on the ball. Got to move it really quickly to bypass that sort of closing down.
Leeds are finding it really difficult at the moment, so the long ball over the top offers an option, and Gelhardt's done really well to take that down and move it forward all in one go. Plays an intelligent ball into the middle. Rodrigo is arriving. That's Leeds' best moment in the second half there.
Certainly was. Found good space. Great touch, wasn't it, initially from Joe Gelhardt. I think Ayling just going on the overlap, drew the player away. A little bit of space, almost threaded the pass through by Gelhardt. Does really well. You can see Rodrigo making that run as well to the near post. Almost.
So, chance for Leeds here. Set pieces could be important in this second period. If they can put the right ball into the middle, put the height in the penalty area. Greenwood to take it. Good looking ball from Greenwood. Well, it was a great ball right onto the head of Helder there. And I think Helder will feel that there was an opportunity to do a bit better with that header. Maybe he was just slightly wrong in his positioning when it came to him.
He could have done a lot better. There's two things he could have done. Initially, he could have brought it down, but what you always have to do is just expect it. You know, think it's going to come to you and be nice and positive. He was waiting. Eventually, it did. His reaction was too slow.
But better moment for Leeds United. Two better moments in this game, and we highlight those because they've been few and far between, it has to be said, and Elche have enjoyed far the better of things. Only a warm-up game, of course, but they will take heart from their performance thus far, whereas Leeds have probably got quite a lot of thinking to do. Certainly as we head towards the hour mark in this match, haven't worked the opposition goalkeeper anywhere near enough, and the new man in charge of Elche will feel that whatever words have been said to his players, first and second half, it's had thus far the desired effect. Just the one goal in the game, but Elche got it just before half-time. And they have possession here again, and every Leeds player back behind the ball. But again, Elche comfortable in control a bit, at least briefly on that occasion. And now Forshaw can set things going. And Rodrigo's made a really good run off the defender there and found himself in space. Forshaw picked him out well, and Leeds have extra bodies going forward here now. Greenwood, and this will be an opening goal for Leeds United, as Gelhardt picks up on Greenwood's ball, and Leeds United, with a really incisive attacking movement there, have opened up the opposition, and Leeds United have got the goal that brings the scoreline level. It's Elche 1, Leeds United 1.
At last, great bit of quality, wasn't it? Really was good play. And the run as well from Greenwood was superb. Cut back, and Gelhardt, that's where we like to see him, in that 6-yard box. Putting her offside, but I think he timed his run to perfection. All actually started by an excellent ball from Adam Forshaw out to Rodrigo, but then held the ball up, waited, got support. The ball across from Greenwood is superb.
It's a forlorn appeal for offside, isn't it? Because it's the defender on the far side who's picking up Greenwood, who's the furthest man back. So Leeds United have produced a much better moment than anything that's come before it in this game. And all of a sudden, Leeds United find themselves level here, and now a raft of changes is to be made here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Leeds replacements ready to come on. Obviously the hour mark was the key mark, and we've just crossed that now as the goal was scored. And so as pretty much we predicted, we see all the subs: JB, Joseph, Nonto, Perkins, anybody else, they're all on. So Leeds United now have got half an hour with a very different looking 11.
Jabi coming on now as well.
Yeah, JB's on, and he will go straight into the midfield. Seen glimpses of him in action previously at Wolverhampton Wanderers most recently, and then now it's a completely different looking game because Elche have made numerous changes themselves. And let's see how this new look Leeds 11 fares in the remaining minutes of this game here, with Leeds having been under the cosh for much of it, but now finding themselves all square with a first real moment of quality. and that was all it took ultimately to open up the opponents. Joseph being on the ball here is good, and the run is really good, and he's got a chance to perhaps have a drive at goal. Another shot comes in instead, and it was almost in slow motion there, and it was Cleach who had the effort on goal, and it was the replacement keeper for Elche at full stretch, Werner, who pushed it behind for a corner.
What a run from Joseph. My goodness, he's just come on the pitch. Absolutely brilliant. Skips past 1-2. Not sure there what exactly he was trying, but that would have been some goal. That's how you announce yourself into the first team.
So there's better moments here for Leeds United as Greenwood has the chance to deliver another corner kick into the penalty area. Lots to aim at in there now. And the heads go up. Oh, it's just taken away from Ayling as he was arriving. Looked like it was going to be at exactly the right moment. But the ball off the top of the defender's head, took it over the near side touchline. The game has a completely different complexion to it all of a sudden here now.
Absolutely. How things change, and I think the goal that we scored certainly has changed things greatly. Of course, the substitutes now, a lot of our boys are young, fresh, and they're on there wanting to make an impression, so should be a lively last half hour or so.
It's been pretty lively thus far. Plenty of tackles.
Yeah, the challenge is going in.
Yeah, it's been serious in intent, and Elche had much enjoyed the better of it up to the point where they scored that goal just before the interval. But since the interval, we've seen much more from Leeds United, even having to weather a bit more pressure here, but there may yet be more to come. But Leeds will hope that they can get more people, more game time here. And the result, as we think we've said out throughout, really is pretty much immaterial. I mean, it's good, it's nice, but it's not the actual reason for the.
There's a trophy at the end of this.
Yeah,
mate.
of course.
Okay, there's a trophy.
I was forgetting the trophy.
Exactly.
Could be half-day holiday in Leeds with an open-top bus tour. Throw into Elche on the halfway line, and as we move towards the midpoint of this second half, Elche it is who have space to attack against Leeds United here. Ball is going to be well, it had to be defended there, because you'll see there were men in the middle waiting if the cross was the right one. So Hilder it is who had to slide in, and Leeds will have to switch on quickly here because Elche threatened to take a quick corner kick.
Yes, the roller there. I thought he had plenty of time to slide it across to his striker, but Hilder does well and just cuts out that attempted cross.
Robles gets fingertips, no more than that, to the ball. I think he's looking long and hard at the referee to suggest he should have a free kick. But if Meslier doesn't get one against Spurs, then Robles got no chance for that with that appeal,
that was
has he?
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah, should have been a foul all day long. He got almost thrown in the back of the net. It was crazy.
So
not that I'm bitter, of course.
No, of course,
of course.
Let it go.
Okay.
The ball is still there for Elche to attack, and then it's switched out to the far side of the penalty area. Leeds should be able to defend this successfully with Nonto. Can't give the ball to a teammate. So Elche it is who are putting the pressure on again here with the run, and the body's on the spare on the edge of the box. Straub with the clearance. Nonto helps it on again. Same result from Nonto's clearance. It's picked up in midfield by the home team, and they'll attack Leeds once more, and they'll have a corner kick off JB there. So we had that swing in Leeds' favour, and now the game has swung back in Elche's favour for the last couple of minutes at least, and there's more defending for Leeds to do.
Well, I suppose from Jesse Marsh's point of view as well, at least they are getting a very good workout. It's at a very good tempo. The conditions are good as well. So I suppose at the end of a training block, this is the sort of game that you want.
Yep, it's been competitive throughout, and I'm sure will continue to be. Elche show no signs of letting up as they've come back into it again, having conceded the equalising goal. Difficult corner kick in swinger that Robles somewhat theatrically double fists away at full stretch, Superman style, and then Nonto picks it up for Leeds United, who would like again a little spell of possession here perhaps. Robles with a sweeping ball forward, Joseph underneath it, former Espanyol man gets the ball to Cleach, and he's almost able to pick out the run. Joseph had made the run down the channel there. Cleach spotted it, tried to get the ball to him, but it was blocked before it got there.
Offside, good play as well from Strout, just stepping up at the right time when the Elche midfielder was going to pass the ball. But yeah, you saw the run from Joseph, always looking again to get into that channel, almost from click.
As Ayling plays it down the channel beyond the little stretch of Perkins. Fine footwork at the back there from Kocha. And the ball is played up towards the halfway line. And Strauch is muscular in his challenge and is a little angry in the aftermath. And the referee has to step in as Strauch refuses to release the ball there. And the Leeds man is obviously somewhat unhappy with what's just happened. Perkins also voicing his displeasure.
Didn't see a lot there, but afterwards a little kick out as well from one of the players, but Strauch will get them back, don't worry. They're good to see him back playing at centre half as well, I'm sure.
I'm sure he enjoys that.
Yeah, he'll enjoy it because everything's very, very natural for him, left-sided centre half.
And you would imagine that at some point in the second half of the season, that's where Leeds really long-term envisage that he will play, isn't it? Rather, I don't think the plan was for him to be a regular left-back. That's been his situation for much of the season so far. But with January coming, options may become available for the club to strengthen in the areas where things have been most difficult so far. And that might give yet the option for Strout to take up that central defensive position on a more regular basis. We'll see how things develop on that basis.
Yeah, I think it's needs must, isn't it? And I think if you look at Pascal Strauch at the start of the season when he's playing that left back role, I think his distribution with the ball, could have been better, but it has got better. He has improved that side of it, and he's done extremely well.
Here's Greenwood for Leeds, attacking the edge of the box. Held up as he was maybe thinking about shooting there. There were options available, so maybe releasing the ball a little earlier was the choice he should have taken. But Leeds defends successfully. Strauch across to cover as the ball threatened to get beyond Luke Ayling. And that's really the example about what we've been talking about, isn't it? How he's enjoyed that, the role of being able to do what he can do in there, get across on the cover and make that proper central defender's challenge, as Leeds have bodies to attack with here. Look at the space down the right and left as Nonto picks it up on the edge of the penalty area. Players in the middle. Nonto takes it himself. Really good work, but then slips as he's ready to make the cross.
He's actually pulled him back. And Nonto does really well. Slip of the hips goes past him, but the fullback, no doubt, has grabbed him and pulled him back slightly. Here we see it again. Takes him down. And there, by the arm.
Yeah, that's a penalty kick,
really, isn't it? That. I don't think you'd have to do that. No. What do you reckon, Bryn?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. But assistant missed it, referee missed it, and Nonto left frustrated. And Elche, little uncontested drop ball for them on the edge of the penalty area. He's got great shape, hasn't he, Nonto? And a classic huge backside, which usually signifies a player who's got that balance. That means he can really drift in between defensive challenges, and we've seen enough signs from him already that suggest and hint at the potential and the excitement that he could induce for Leeds United supporters in the second part of the season and perhaps beyond.
I'm just worried about Perkins because what's going on there? He intimated to the bench that there was something not quite right with him, and there you can see he's hunched over again. Hopefully it's not another injury.
Yeah, so the play will resume, because I think the ball had gone out of play, hadn't it, in the build-up to it being swept into the back of the net. This ball's been thrown at Elche players, and referee might do well to step in here. Perkins is having a long conversation, as you can see there, with the medical staff, and the referee is now finally and perhaps belatedly coming to get involved in the midst of all of that there. Jesse Marsh having a word as well. Perkins is going to carry on. Not entirely sure what that was all about, but maybe all will be revealed. Joseph putting pressure on the goalkeeper, almost catches him out there. The keeper at the key moment gets the ball clear. At the other end, Robles has come well out of his penalty area, And we're inside the final 20 minutes of this warm-up game to Premier League season part 2. And it's still all square, 1 apiece, but Leeds United have the ball in a good position with plenty of bodies forward as well. Cleich is nutmegged there. There's some good skills as well on the edge of the box as Perkins slid in for Leeds. And then a strong challenge from Sam Greenwood, who is penalised, and now the referee is coming across the near side technical area. Contact on the ball.
Yeah, it just looked awkward, didn't it? It looked like he missed it, and there was a bit of a challenge, and he did get the ball. Perkins just having a look at him to see how he's moving.
It's Elche attacking, and Collado loses possession on that far side, does a bit too much in the end. Cleich is there. A little flick onto the head of Strauch, and then up the touchline it goes for Helder. And then Nonto trying to win it back as well for Leeds. Not once but twice. All very scrappy, but ultimately the ball emerges into the middle, and there's a chance for Elche with a shot, and the block is made at the key moment right in front of goal. Still not clear though, and this should be Robles' ball. And suddenly the space arrived in the penalty area for Ponce there, and he got his shot on target, but the defensive clearance kept it out.
Cody Drummer, he actually does really well, gets across and makes sure there's no way through.
Cody Drummer did well to keep his arms out the way of that one as well. Celebrated his birthday this week. There's a foul surely to Leeds in that Elche half on Matthijs Cleich.
Perkins is not moving well at all. Definitely a muscular injury. Something's whether it's cramping up all the time or whatever. Hopefully it's not too serious, but it doesn't look like he's free at all.
The problem for Leeds obviously is that bar the replacement goalkeeper, there are no more replacements. So if he comes off, then Leeds will be playing the remainder of this game with 10.
But at the same time, if he carries on and does himself a proper damage, that's I think that's the worst
no help
option
to anybody either,
no,
is it?
Absolutely not.
So still more problems for Jesse Marsh to mull over, even as Leeds have got themselves level in this second half. It's been a much improved second half performance, I think it would be fair to say, from Leeds United. Still Elche are threatening, but Leeds have got the equalising goal and have been more in the game than they were able to be in that first period, and will hope to be more in the game even in the closing stages, even perhaps with that almost effectively player less currently. Nonto from JB, and then Nonto is caught and Leeds have the free kick. It's a really young Leeds side out there now. Sam Greenwood almost comes under the heading of experienced player, doesn't he, in terms of the amount of first team game time he's had in comparison to lads like Perkins. And there again, another classic example of Sonny Perkins. Just
he can't move.
Has no mobility. Does he?
No. Whatever's going on, I'm not sure, but he just can't move, can't get about the pitch.
So Leeds keep him on for the time being, but may have to rethink that one with 15 minutes of this game to go. And then Robles plays the ball not where he was meaning to play it.
Well, if he did, he needs his eyes tested because there's no one there. Just stubbed his toe, unfortunately, in kicking it, and better to be safe and kick it out than anywhere else.
Chance here for the run forward from the edge of the penalty area, and the shot is close to goal. Ultimately, Leeds have done enough to keep it away from goal. But again, it's the away team, the home team rather, who are threatening here. Nico with the effort there.
Excellent shot. Actually, a very good save from Robles, who's seated and has got to make sure he gets that big, long right arm out. Makes a very good stop.
He's an Argentinian and from a San Lorenzo player. And it wasn't a bad effort at all. Leeds clear. Oh, goodness me, that could have gone anywhere. It was Joseph with the header down. And then I think Elche are arguing the final touch was off a Leeds player, and the referee awards a goal kick.
Well, Joseph missed his header, didn't he? Should have just cleared that one instead. Caught it very thinly and straight to the Elche player. Here we see it again. Decent ball in. Some of their deliveries actually in the box have been very good. Joseph should be just clearing that one away. Get away with it.
Definitely got away with that one. Luke Ayling. trying to play out from the back, but needed a bit of assistance from the heavy chest down there. Now can Leeds start to move forward with Joseph again, comfortable in possession to JB, and he's done well as well. And then it's played through the middle for Cleek, and it's flicked on for Joseph, and he just lifts the ball over the goalkeeper, but in doing so lifts it over the top of the goal as well. But once more, fine little exchange, and Leeds United almost benefit at the end of it.
Lovely play, really is. Now we're starting to pass in that last third, and Click to Joseph to exactly what he's trying to do. Saw the keeper, just gets a little bit too much onto it, but great idea. A little bit more of a deft touch. That'll be in the back of the net.
Yeah, some lovely football there. Yeah. And Leeds suddenly defending at the other end with a first attempt blocked, the second attempt won back by Ayling. And this game is swinging from goal mouth to goal mouth now, and neither side showing any signs that they're about to ease up in the closing 13 minutes or so of this one. And we've had a yellow card shown. JB is JB the recipient there, and it's the second yellow card of the game. And Elche have a free kick as a consequence just outside that centre circle. The referee has a bit more work to do. Yeah, a little drag back by JB, and Leeds are under a little pressure again. Elche elect to play the ball short and then backwards, which was maybe a strange decision given that they've created quite a few good moments throughout the game. You thought they might have pushed that one forward up towards the Leeds penalty area once more, but that's exactly what they're trying to do here now. And there will be a ball to defend, and Helder needed to read that one well. And now suddenly the man who's looked the most lively for Leeds since coming on, Joseph, has it on this near side. Cleek has done well in that midfield role there, just to keep the ball moving for Leeds United, but then it's overhit, and Nonto, quick as he is not going to cover the ground quickly enough to keep that one in.
And when Joseph got the ball as well, Perkins is trying to ask for the ball into the channel, running onto it, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Perkins. It's strange.
Well, he's jogging around up there. He is running, isn't he?
Yeah.
So if there's I don't know what the issue is.
Well, I think it cramp, whether it's still like grabbing him now, so it's releasing a little bit and he can continue. That's the only thing I can think of. It's strange.
Because he's playing through the middle up front at the moment. So hopefully Sonny Perkins is okay. Remember that the evening started with a real negative for Leeds United in the loss of Crescencio Somerville in the early stages to what looked like an ankle injury. And so we'll aim to bring you news of that in the aftermath of the game as soon as possible. But that's the real black mark in terms of the night so far, because whatever's happened in terms of the action here, we've had a goal at either end. Leeds were hoping to emerge from this one with a clean bill of health, and that may not be the case with other players still coming back from injury. So in a sense, I guess that's the story of the season so far, isn't it? Every time Leeds have thought they were progressing in terms of the players available and fit again, another one's got injured. So JB amongst a clutch of players here who may yet get opportunities depending on who gets fit and when in the second half of the season. Luke Ayling, one of those who's been out for much of the first period, now fit and back in the action. Very welcome sight it is as well. JB for Leeds enjoying a spell of possession here in the Elche half in the last 10 minutes of this game now. Space on the near side of the penalty here for Drama's ball into the middle. And Perkins was waiting there, but before it got to him it was headed clear. Greenwood, another strong challenge, and it's given away, but the referee has awarded the free kick for that challenge by Greenwood, just as Nonto was thinking he might get a shot.
Some cross, wasn't it, from Cody Drama just back there as well. First time on the right hand side, it was excellent. And Greenwood trying to keep Elche in their last third, didn't quite get any of the ball.
No, to say the least.
Well, he got there as quick as he could, and it was there a second before, but it
not
moved on a
quite
bit.
in time.
No.
Elche, ball in behind. The flag will surely get raised here, will it not? Well, there's your answer. No, clearly not. And it's still the La Liga side who are keeping the ball in the Leeds half. And they almost contrived, it was like a game of headers and volleys there, wasn't it, between the two players. But Leeds ultimately end up with JB in possession. Good in possession as well. Skips past what was a foul challenge, surely, and then the referee will take the play back to that moment to give Leeds the free kick.
First challenge was a foul. Tried to continue. Click has got a yellow card for something that he said, and this one was fine. It was the previous challenge. I think what we've done better, certainly in the second half, is got the ball through the thirds, and Click has got it further up the pitch, and we've managed to find pockets of space. Whereas in the first half, they were at a premium, weren't they? We just couldn't find any quality on the ball to find our players further up the pitch, but a lot better second half.
Cleek with the ball infield to Greenwood. Greenwood picks Nonto out in space. Almost the perfect return ball from Joseph there. Good understanding between the pair of them. And Nonto had set off. Joseph put just a little too much on it. Otherwise Nonto would have been in. There's the confirmation of the yellow card for Matthias Cleek. So 3 yellow cards now. 1 for Elche, 2 for Leeds. Home team back in possession in their own half. This time, whereas previously they might have looked forward, on this occasion Quina it is who goes back to the goalkeeper instead. And then there'll be another foul here. There have been a lot of fouls in this game.
Yeah, and once again, they got there as fast as he could, but unfortunately collected the man, not the ball. Yeah, plenty of fouls. A stop-start, one of those certainly games. First game back, timing not quite there. I think we've seen that. Yeah,
and occasionally that applies to the passing as well, but Leeds benefit ultimately with the ball almost breaking into the path of Cleek. And then
good effort.
If it's all about finding your focus in this stage before the real action starts, well then that maybe was the classic example. Gumbau's ball was, where was that meant to be going?
I think he lost his bearings there, no idea.
Completely, yeah, hooked it straight into touch and behind for a Leeds corner, under no pressure at all. So Leeds can call for the big boys, and Strauch and Ayling make their way into the penalty area. Helder's there as well. Greenwood is going to deliver for Leeds. 6.5 minutes of this game remaining.
And this is another good opportunity to go through the set piece routines that they would have practiced. This will be another version. Let's see how effective this one is.
Referee still having to have words between players of the two teams. Leeds have been intensively training, I should say, in the build-up to this game in Alicante. Been based around about an hour away from Elche. It's all kicking off in there, isn't it? What on earth is going on in the penalty area? Nonto with his arms up in the air as the ball finally comes in now. Blessed relief. The goalkeeper gets in a bit of a mess as well. It lands on his teammate. Helder protests innocence. I think ultimately Elche are actually getting a free kick out of all of that.
Lirola is the one that's been landed upon. Werner, his keeper, his full weight. Yeah, that was a strange old free kick, wasn't it? I think every player getting in and around the goalkeeper, that's the plan.
And just momentarily there we saw Perkins down on the ground, and this surely refers back to the narrative we've been discussing of Perkins having a problem and not really being anywhere near full mobility levels, and now maybe that's manifested itself in what could be perhaps his last action in this one.
Ouch. Yeah, I think it is, but I just hope it's more of a kick than anything kind of muscular, because otherwise, why stay on? Even if you're going to lose 2-3-1, it doesn't really matter. It's about fitness, getting things up to par. But if it's just a kick and he's trying to run it off, then fair enough. You try and go, as long as you can.
Well, he's coming off towards the touchline now, so we remain to see whether he comes back into the action. Quina is having a long chat with the new coach, who was obviously got things that he wants to get him to do, even in the final 5 minutes of this warm-up fixture in Elche. And still we have the scorelines all level At which moment do I reveal that I have no idea what happens if we're all square at full time?
I was just about to say, Bryn, does it go to
that
penalties? I thought, I'm not going to lay that on you. I'm not going to lay that one on you. I thought, but do we go to penalties?
The answer is I have literally no idea.
And then I was thinking, we now have 2 yellow cards to their 1. Does that mean we lose?
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it could be that.
Let's
Corner
see.
kicks, whatever. So, yeah, the excitement.
We're going to get a winner, don't worry.
Leeds are going to win this one, and then I'll wish I'd never revealed my ignorance. Nonto with the ball over on the far touchline. And then the little passing down the channel for Cleach, forced away from goal. Little push in the back there of Matthias Cleach. JB looking forward. Joseph stabs it back to Cleach, who just draws the challenge before passing the ball. And Leeds on the ball, still with Strauch. Now the space worked well by JB with a little drop of the shoulder to Cleach. Leeds looking much better in these closing stages. Still going Matthias Cleach. What a strike that is! Oh. Well, maybe there will be a trophy lifted by Leeds United at the end of this game, because that's a fabulous goal from Matthias Cleach. He's been great since he's come on, and he's capped that performance with a terrific goal to put Leeds in front, 2-1.
Wow, find some more space in the trophy cabinet, because that was absolutely brilliant. Time that he had to bring it down, but I thought, okay, can you now find the finish? He was eyeing it up, and no real closing down from Elche. And after that, he just shows what great technique he's got. Bent it into that top corner. It is a brilliant finish.
It's been a while since we've seen one of those from Matthias Cleach, but we know he can do it. And maybe he's got his eye back in, because he's been really good since he's come on, and he could yet be a key player, couldn't he, in the second half of the season for Leeds?
I think he's a key member of the squad in that, we need that depth of quality, and he's calm, he's got that experience, and you're right, that sort of goal, we saw it 3 or 4 times, didn't we, in the Championship a while back, and we'd like to see it a bit more, please. That was excellent.
So Leeds are in front now, and we are in the last couple of minutes of this game here. So much improved second half performance from Leeds United. Even after the changes, Leeds have been more at it from an offensive point of view, and Elche are maybe being exposed a little bit more in terms of what they perhaps truly are in this second period. They've made huge changes as well to their team, of course.
Yeah, they certainly have. I thought the first 11 that they played actually were very good. Whether they keep it up for 90 minutes, I'm not so sure, but certainly we managed to get better. But Bryn, you shouldn't have gone so early on the draw, should you now?
I'm really regretting that now.
It's always bound to happen.
Yeah.
Bound to happen.
Listen, I know nothing is probably my motto. JB with the ball down the touchline, headed on by Cleach, and then cleared away up to and over the halfway line. Maybe there's still time for more action here, as Nonto goes down. Held it, gets caught late there, and he looks towards the referee for intervention. Nothing is coming from the official, and Joseph is the only man forward and up for Leeds United. Just scanning around. I don't think Perkins came back on, did he, for Leeds?
No, so we're down to 10, but Ash, I said we had 2 yellow cards. We've actually got 3. We had 3 yellow cards.
That's right, yeah, 3, yeah. But it's irrelevant whether it was part of it, because Leeds may yet extend their advantage here, because their body's forward, as Joseph maybe just took a little bit too long and telegraphed the pass ultimately. Ooh, another late one there.
That's a late challenge.
And Dramat acknowledges the intervention. Another card comes out, so that's 5 in all. And it's 3-2 now in terms of the yellow cards, and we've got 3 added minutes. So 3 minutes between the end. That was a bad one, wasn't it?
It's really bad. I mean, and that's exactly what you don't want in this sort of friendly. You've got a few minutes left, and you get an injury that could have been quite bad.
This is the bit where Jesse Marsh is particularly anxious and nervous, I'm sure, isn't it? Where doesn't want anything to go awry now, because already Leeds United have seen Somerville limp off. Now they've seen Perkins limp off, and there are plenty out already. And whatever the outcome in terms of the results of this game, those are really the key factors as Leeds prepare to return to action in the Premier League. As the ball comes out, and we move ever closer to the conclusion of this game. The clock on the screen there was not to be trusted in the first half, because 3 added minutes was applied to it, and then the referee's whistle was blown on 2. But we have seen the board that did say that there would be 3 added minutes at the end of this second half. So we should be on fairly safe ground with the clock there as it stands at the moment. That tells us that we've had 1 of the 3 added minutes. And Leeds United have a throw in as the Elche fans begin to head towards the exits in this, the shoemaking capital of Spain. I had to get that one in before the end of the evening.
You've done your research, Bryn.
It was now or never, wasn't it? At the last. That's a shoemaking joke. For those who understand it. Cobblers, as the ball goes forward into the Leeds half, and Drama with a little nick into touch. Vorkina sends it back into his own half in the closing seconds of this competitive warm-up game, is how it might best be described. It's not over yet either, as Robles had made moves, and Luke Ayling it was with a vital block in front of goal there, because that was a good ball in, 2 were waiting, and without the block maybe we would have had to try and find out how this cup was going to be settled. As Drama pushes as far up the field as he can, and the ball goes back to Werner, and the Argentinian goalkeeper with the ball out of the penalty area, and Nonto, great work from Nonto there, just to keep the pressure on, keep the ball at the right end of the pitch. And game management could be a significant factor for Leeds in the remaining part of the Premier League season. That was one of the discussions that was had in the aftermath of that game at Tottenham Hotspur. You take the lead 3 times, see it out, particularly when the final goal of the 3 is pretty late on. Something Leeds failed to do on that occasion. And here we've had the full-time whistle.
And look how many players
look
on their haunch,
exhausted,
absolutely exhausted. I think that shows that, 1, they've been doing a lot of work in training, clearly putting the hard yards in. 2, the tempo of this game has been high, and they really have worked very hard.
And that's a group of players, many of whom have played just the 45 minutes basically, and yet everybody is put in a good shift. 1 or 2 have played more than that, obviously. Nonto, one of those who came on in the second half, but ultimately Leeds United, from a position where they were very much second best at half-time in this game, have proved to be the better team in the second half, and we've seen 2 good goals scored. The first one, neat link-up play, that opened up the home side defensively, and then a really great strike late on from Matthijs Klich that gives Leeds United a victory. Sam Greenwood going to applaud those Leeds fans who've made the trip over to support the side here in Alicante. And the Elche supporters are, it would appear, not waiting to see any trophies lifted here, but the Leeds fans most definitely are. So there they are in good numbers, and well done to all of those who've made the journey to back the side here at the Estadio Martínez Valero, and they've seen Leeds United come out on top. What will Jesse Marsh be able to deduce from that then, Tony?
Not a lot, but what I would say is it's a good win. Okay, 2-1. It doesn't really matter the score at this point. It is all about getting the fitness back up to the required levels. For me, the most important parts of this game today have been the 2 injuries that we've got. So Perkins, obviously not so much as part of the first team 11, but certainly Somerville, the way that he was playing before the break, hopefully that's not going to be too long, because otherwise it could be a real blow to us. But I think fitness-wise, tempo-wise, very good, great conditions to play, and hopefully it's a step forward in their fitness. And and a little trophy as well. We're going to take that back from Spain as well. Not bad.
Yes, so maybe Leeds United will be flying back with that when the squad returns to the UK tomorrow. I think they'll sleep well this evening, that's for absolutely certain. Because there's more work to be done when they arrive back in England, with 2 games to prepare for. The first of those will be next week, and you can join us on LUTV for that one against Real Sociedad, and then in the aftermath of that there will be the game against AS Monaco as well. That will be the final warm-up match. So that will be Leeds United done and ready. They'll have one more week to go then before they take on Manchester City at Ellen Road as the Premier League finally gets back underway again. So the players waiting on the pitch here. Not sure we're going to see a trophy brought out, but hugs all round from Jesse Marsh for his match winner, Matthias Klich, a goal worthy of winning the game. And Leeds United come out on top as they're back in action again. The full-time scoreline here, it's finished in Elche, Elche 1, Leeds United 2.